So like yeah, going down to college was cool. I was set on being a 4-year 25 pounder for Chattanooga. And so Nick Soto was in the lineup at that time, and he was ranked top 10 all 4 years. He was in college. He was a killer. Giant, they called him the Giant Killer because every single year he'd take out the number one kid in the country. And so that's my training partner. He's from Tampa Prep down in, or no, Springstead down in Florida. He's from Springstead. And so Chattanooga has a good pipeline with some of those Florida schools like South Dade and Osceola, Kissimmee, and like Springstead and Tampa Prep and stuff. So he's my drill partner. He's as good as it gets. I go in there and we hit it hard. That freshman year, we had this preseason that was supposed to mimic like a Navy SEAL training camp, and so it was in this 8-week phase where we were sleep deprived, we were put through the ringer, and running hills, going from running hills to arena within 3 hours of each other. In arenas, you have to hit every single step in that stadium, and then you got to go down to the bottom floor, and you got to wheelbarrow all the way up to the top. You got to go through 2 flights. You know how college coaches are. They're just, in that old school mentality. They tell you one thing and it's something else, and so there's that unpredictability. And so you get, you're thrown into it right away, and I loved it. I loved it because that's what I wanted to be around. But what was pretty unfortunate was I had my senior year, I had teeth extracted, so I have no molars back here. And so for those people who don't know, like your molars are heels for the top half of your body. And so, the posterior chain of your body, your back, your hips, your glutes, your hamstrings, your stomach, then you get into the interior. Everything's connected to the mouth. And so having those teeth extracted and then going through what I went through in wrestling, and the compensations that you put your body through in order to be in a strong wrestling stance, I think ultimately led to this injury I sustained and received. And so I got returned on the mats with like a lock right here on my rib. And this lower rib went, and what it did was it led to this nerve getting stretched out in my brachial plexus. And so because I don't have molars over here to keep my mouth to compensate, this nerve here stretched out. And so that ultimately led to, my career having to be shut down. And so that freshman year, I put in a dynamite preseason. I redshirted and then had to, basically rehab that injury all season. And so then I come home for, a couple months during the summer. Did some things, I'm looking at 8 months basically where I haven't competed. I'm training a little bit, getting my footwork in and working through simple progressions, but I wasn't hitting the nail on the coffin. I wasn't really in the grinder. So I gave my body, and coaches word was to just like give my body the month of August to settle, repair, and then September we're hitting it. And so, go right back into preseason, dynamite preseason, kind of ease up a little bit, relax, get the body prepped up for competition season. That was like a week and a half phase where we just kind of got into the room and went through our progressions. And I go out, we have Wisconsin, first dual meet of the year. And I'm wrestling Ryan Taylor, who took 6th to NCAAs that year. And we're in a dogfight, and, he hits his shot on me. I end up ripping him with a mixer, throw him on his back, and, he funks out of it and then ends up, getting to his offense, his technicals, and scoring some points on me. So he ended up beating me up. But it was good to get that feeling against a top-tier kid and throw him on his back and, realize that no matter what, if I just compete and just keep this going, we're in the mix. And so over the, thinking long-term over the next couple of years, we're going to have some fun with this style, man. And that was it. I wrestled Soto in the wrestle-off and only lost to him, 9-7, and that was in the pavilion in front of, a lot of people who knew Nick Soto was that guy. He was the Giant Killer, and, I went out there and put up 7 on him and just wrestled. I didn't give a rip, And so it was good to see. I got a lot of good support from the Mocs after that and the community at Chattanooga. But go out there at the Virginia Hokie Open. I wrestled, or no, it was the Hokie Duels back then. I wrestled Joey Dance, Deutsch from Ryder, and Jamie Franco, all back to back to back, 3 really game competitors, all multi-time state champs from Jersey. Joey Dance was an All-American. Franco is New York kid, so he wrestles for Austria. And all those matches I lost by 1 point, except for Dance, and that was an 11-8 belt, and that, we're putting points up. So all these guys right here, made it. Deutsch was a 2-time blood round guy, and Joey All-Americans loses in the blood round, and then you got Jamie Franco, who is a 3-time qualifier. So I'm right there. I'm on the edge, and then go to the Navy Classic. My dad comes down to watch me wrestle. It's over at Maryland, in Indianapolis, and I wrestle a tough kid from Kent State and just can't even finish the match. My arm just goes completely black and blue, and so that nerve just got completely, pissed off, and it just got re-triggered and, flared up. So then I was left with, back to where I was, a year ago. So I just really tried to play with the season. Keep lifting. Coach Cerritos was putting me on the Aerodyne every day and making me puke just so I could keep my lungs fresh. And they were trying to get me ready to go for SoCons, and they were just going to throw me in because I gave the team the best opportunity, just because of the if factor. I could put people on their backs and stick them, and that was some good energy to have. So there was the hope that was going to happen, but 2 days before SoCons, I went in for a private with Soto and Cerritos, and by the end of that workup, my arm was black and blue. And Cerritos was just basically saying he's never seen that before, and we need to go get answers as to what's going on here. So from there, it was just a bunch of testing, and I went and got my EMG test, and that's basically what determined what the hell was happening, because I had seen specialists, what's happening with my shoulder, but it was all neurological, so there's nothing that they could do, and it came down to, if you want to fix this, you got to go do it yourself. And so that's where I kind of put my call out, I call it my call out to the universe, and that's when I went, to Springfield, in the hopes to compete Division III. But also I wanted to study, medicine. I wanted to study the human body and figure out how I could fix this, because it just made no sense to me, So that's what led to that, that whole journey.